Out of the secret gardens, we head to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where one legend of the land cultivated his own place in history. Also,
People say it's the best kept secret on Cape Cod.
we'll take you to a hidden garden where currents of color compete with ocean tides. And we'll explore a storybook garden that leaps from the page right into reality. Our private tour is just ahead on the secret gardens. Cape Cod, Massachusetts inspires dreamy images of windswept shores, captivating harbors, and miles of sandy beaches. For nearly 4 centuries, this narrow strip of land has lured travelers to the sea. Today, 200,000 people call Cape Cod home year-round, while millions more visit during the summer. They may come for the ocean, but some discover secrets of the land. Hidden off a narrow country road in Sandwich, the oldest town on the Cape, Heritage Plantation is a tranquil surprise.
We are the Cape's most unknown or undiscovered secret. I like to think that you'll discover all kinds of things at Heritage, but particularly how beautiful plants are.
A first glimpse into the garden hints at the exquisite beauty found here. Surrounded by a rich tapestry of color, visitors find themselves wrapped in the hallmark of the garden, its magnificent rhododendrons. Thousands of rhododendrons envelop the garden with a surprising array of blushing blossoms and rich green foliage.
We have 76 acres, and almost literally every acre has a rhododendron on it, if not one, thousands.
The legacy of rhododendrons is no accident. They were cultivated by Charles Dexter, who retired here in the 1920s. Dexter turned to gardening and developed a passion for rhododendrons. They grew by the thousands, some of them varieties he created. Today, new features in the garden match the beauty of the historic rhododendrons. Velvety lawns blanket the rolling hills with a run-your-toes-through-it invitation.
Not only are they beautiful, but we actually let people walk on them, which is very unusual. The secret for us is they get plenty of water, and then our grounds crew mows it every 4 days.
A hidden meadow wrapped in daylilies, holly, and pine trees dazzles visitors with its grandeur. Here, a sundial accurate to the minute is no guarantee visitors won't lose track of time in this graceful garden. Nearby, a burst of color unfolds amidst the trees. From a distance, it could be mistaken for rhododendrons, but a closer look reveals the truth.
One of Heritage Plantation's best kept secrets is our beautiful collection of mountain laurel. Charles Dexter was famous for his rhododendrons, but he literally imported trainloads of mountain laurel, and it's covering the hills and valleys throughout the area.
The billowing mountain laurel delights visitors who discover its beauty secret. The buds are as attractive as the blooms. Nearby, an ancient stone wall laced with ivy winds its way along a rising path to a magical surprise. A fringe tree unfurls in a blizzard of color and fragrance.
Visitors are so surprised when they see it. They start coming around the bend and they can smell this incredible fragrance. What's that smell? What's that smell?
But it's the sight of this katsura tree that's guaranteed to capture hearts. Its romantically shaped leaves invite a closer look. Still, other suitors are calling. A hidden lake beckons visitors into dense woods where a hush falls over the tranquil forest.
We have a walk called Serenity Walk down on a lake where you can go and contemplate nature, just get away from the crowd, no matter how busy we are.
For those who can pull themselves away from the interlude, there's more to explore in the garden. Fields of wildflowers and bold flower beds frame the old Cape Cod home, where Dexter spent years cultivating his beloved flowers and transforming the land. Today, the secret garden at Heritage Plantation is open to the public and harbors many treasures of the land. Those who make the voyage to this corner of paradise at Cape Cod are sure to enjoy the journey. Coming up, we'll discover an historic sea captain's landlocked oasis. Also, we'll visit a garden that's gone from briar patch to a patch of paradise. There's more to come on The Secret Gardens.
This program...
The shores of Cape Cod, Massachusetts shift with the drifting tides. But one thing doesn't change here. Cape Cod continues to lure fishermen, great and small, just as it has for centuries. However, a real catch is the secret garden tucked behind the former home of a 19th century sea captain in Brewster. The 200-year-old fisherman's home sits on one of the busiest streets in town. But its present owner says her modern-day garden is easily overlooked by passers-by.
People say it's the best kept secret on Cape Cod, and the fact that people just can come in and wander the garden is everybody's delight.
In the front, a formal rose garden blends with cascading geraniums and hints at more treasures beyond. Soon, visitors are swept up in gentle currents of color and drawn into the back gardens. Here, dazzling flowers wash over an emerald lawn. The unique beauty of the garden stems from its owner's passion for designing gardens. And its elegance is enhanced by a fondness for antiques, concealed in many nooks in the garden. A native of Massachusetts, Pat McLeod lived elsewhere for years before retiring to her historic Cape Cod dream home.
We trace it back to Captain Hopkins. And the Hopkins family had many houses here in Brewster. But he was a sea captain, and it's a wonderful old house.
A wonderful house that lacked a garden until 7 years ago. Now it's become a perennial paradise. And like the Cape's coastline, the garden continues to evolve and grow in beauty. One secret to the garden's charm is the skillful use of flowers that bloom all year long. Many are naturally suited to the Cape Cod climate. Others, like these Canterbury bells, are rare on the Cape.
It's unusual to find them in some of the gardens around here because people don't think that they can grow them. They've come back here for me for a couple of seasons now.
No matter what the season, antiques from around the country accent this secret garden's historic roots. Towering columns from the state of Maine, framed by mock orange, stand out in the garden. But most treasures are discreetly tucked away.
And I love to put a little bunny or a little frog somewhere where when the little children are walking around in the garden, that they can come across.
Secluded around corners or amidst the flower beds, they make delightful discoveries. It's almost like finding treasures lost at sea. Visitors often miss a playful cherub hiding in a thick bed of white Centranthus. Its origins are unknown, and even its name suggests it was merely a lucky find. Happenstance was discovered on a local scavenger hunt.
I placed her right here where she's been and where children love to come in and just take a peek at her. She's definitely a member of the family.
Nearby, a hidden path leads to the garden's far end. Here, the garden's privacy is assured by a wall of arbor vitae, protecting more secret garden rooms. In the sunken garden, delicate lavender flowers called Blue Wonder wave in the Cape Cod breeze. And fragrant roses conceal more treasured antiques.
Well, I know they can't compare with the beauty of a flower, but they are very attractive.
But one of the most beautiful places is a secret garden designed especially for children. Secluded under a canopy of forsythia, this cozy playroom delights youngsters with its cheerful impatiens. Growing on land that's held promise and magic for many generations of those from Cape Cod, the McLeod Garden is truly a secret garden delighting visitors of all ages. Just ahead, it's a glorious secret garden now, but its secret past has entertained generations. And later, we'll explore an exotic getaway where Cape Cod roots run deep as The Secret Gardens continues.
Green.
Cape Cod, Massachusetts is defined by its craggy cliffs and magical seashores. Here, the broad sky meets the Atlantic Ocean in a shimmery display of nature's best. But within a mile of the coast, dense forests and placid lakes and marshes replace the Cape's surf and sand. And tucked away in a fantasy forest, a secret garden springs to life. And although this area has literally inspired storybooks, this hidden garden is only now revealing its secrets.
We're really not what you call a tourist trap, but we do love people to come. I think that they ought to see the variety of the flowers and some of the secrets.
Those who are lucky enough to discover Greenbrier Nature Center soon learn the secret to its beauty. Wildflowers are everywhere, spilling from the garden's emerald framework. Dancing daisies and blossoms with fanciful names like Love in the Mist shower hidden paths with drops of cheerful color. Every view holds secrets of nature, and visitors soon discover new ways of looking at them.
The first secret, it seems to me, is the fact that the leaves are doing something. They're making food for the plants. And although they don't make a sound, it's the basis of all animal life, this green stuff that surrounds us.
The garden took root 25 years ago when botanist Shirley Cross began planting as an educational project. Today, she shares garden secrets with youngsters who happen upon this magical place.
These are the May-apples. They don't ever see it unless somebody's here who knows. It's not blooming now, but at least we can see why it's called May-apple.
Winding paths meander between pockets of native and imported wildflowers, producing new surprises at every turn. But it wasn't always so lush. Transforming Cape Cod's poor soil and tangled briars is an ongoing effort.
We keep our flower beds covered with leaves. We don't rake anything here. We're distributing leaves all the time to try to build up the soil.
And though the transformation of the land is carefully planned, the garden produces its own surprises.
This is the blue false indigo. I thought it was all going to be blue, of course. I planted the seed and it came up white. Now, many flowers will have an albino phase.
The blue false indigo stands high in an island of meadow flowers. Nearby, a medley of blossoms dangles over soft wood-chip paths. European forget-me-nots with their golden eyes and native and imported iris create an invitation to explore. Wildflowers are the stars of the garden theater, but the trees that shade them have their own stories. Korean dogwoods surprise many with their beautiful white bracts that look like flowers. And this native of Georgia not only found a home on the Cape, it was named after a famous Massachusetts native, Benjamin Franklin. The Franklinia tree was discovered in the 1700s by botanist John Bartram. He managed to cultivate it before the tree became extinct in the wild.
And it's been searched for, but never found again. So this tree turned out to be new for science, and the Bartrams had a chance to name it, and they named it for their old friend, Benjamin Franklin.
But it's another old friend whose connection here is the garden's biggest secret. Author Thornton Burgess grew up in this area, surrounded by the woods and thickets, and spent much time here. Peter Rabbit and other woodland characters were inspired by animals he discovered right here in the Briar Patch. Today, the land continues to weave magical stories and produce new discoveries. Greenbrier Nature Center is a unique garden treasure with volumes of beauty to share. Coming up, an exotic landscape that bridges the cultures in Cape Cod when the Secret Gardens returns.
People are smart.
Cape Cod, Massachusetts is a playground for visitors of all ages and a delightful retreat from urban life. Here, a sea of gray shingled cottages has been a Cape tradition since the 18th century. In the town of Brewster, nestled behind one of these Cape Cod homes, an unexpected secret garden is tucked away. Designed by owner Joe Hughes, this private oasis surprises even longtime neighbors.
They don't know it's here. Numerous times, neighbors that have lived here for years come by and say, I never knew this garden existed.
But that's only the first surprise. Hidden beyond a vine-covered arbor, visitors soon realize this Cape Cod retreat grows to the beat of a different drummer. Here, visitors find a tranquil Japanese garden, where waves of Japanese maples wash over the rolling land, caressed by a soft Atlantic breeze. Water, stone, and foliage, the classic elements of a Japanese garden, create stunning still lifes in tucked-away corners. Joe created this kind of garden because he believes Cape Cod's climate and landscape resemble Japan's. And the Asian theme works here, not only for its exquisite beauty, but because here in Cape Cod, Japanese plants are easy to care for and always attractive.
It is pleasing at any time of the year. Middle of February in a snowstorm, it's pleasing. Middle of the summer, certainly in cherry blossoms in the fall. Quite appealing.
Near the home, a soft path meanders around a bend. Here, a plant not often seen in Japanese or mid-Atlantic gardens surprises visitors. But these camellias are thriving.
They grow well here. I do protect them behind a fence and keep them out of the wind, but I've had no problem with them. They've been here for over 10 years.
Nearby, Andromeda and Skimmia hedges lead to stepping stones that wind down a gentle slope. Traditional Japanese stone lanterns help guide the way. Below, a pond barely visible from the house makes a serene retreat. Even uninvited visitors find delectable treasures. The flashy color of a flower popular on Cape Cod, the rhododendron, glows in the mosaic of Japanese maples circling the pond. Nearby, a secret path tempts visitors up a steep hill, past trickling water. The prize stands at the crest. The symbolic Japanese tea house is a serene resting place to stop and admire this ocean of garden treasures.
And you look at it and you say to yourself, why would anyone not have a Japanese garden?
Yet despite its exotic beauty, there's no escaping the garden's location or its owner's heritage.
I'm a true Cape Codder, if you will. My relatives go back to the 1600s. The house was built in the 1860s by my great-grandfather, who was an Irish immigrant from County Clare.
So here, hidden under a Japanese maple, an Irish saddlestone stakes a claim in the garden. Only the most observant visitors find the final surprises here. Influences from the garden owner's family tree. Celtic touches in the garden are on the ground and overhead. And the most symbolic feature unveils a little humor.
In keeping with the Irish aspect of the garden, this maple is Asa palmatum Killarney. You normally don't find Japanese maples with Irish names.
Anchored with majestic trees or with fields of wildflowers, the secret gardens of Cape Cod, Massachusetts are the perfect place to embark on a voyage of earthbound pleasures. Join us again next time as we discover more hidden treasures in America's most spectacular secret gardens.